Oh, he's got tattoos? That's a red flag. His tattoos make me horny. He's got 3 kids by 3 different women? Not for me. I wonder if he wants another baby mama. I heard he's a player. No way I'd get with him. Players are hot. If he can't respond to my texts, he can't be my boyfriend. Actually, that's a turn on, because I know he's busy doing other shit. If he thinks he can tell me what to do, him. Okay, it makes me mad, but it's kinda hot, because I know he's not afraid of me.
An ironclad rule of today's dating market is that a woman's red flags are a man's green flags. In other words, if something disqualifies her for a long-term relationship with him, that same thing qualifies him for every kind of relationship with her. Short-term, long-term, and everything in between. A woman with tattoos, multiple kids by multiple men, a drinking problem, does drugs, has daddy issues, sleeps around, is a liar, who smokes, doesn't respond to texts, and is a bossy bitch is automatically disqualified for anything outside of a one-night stand or casual buddy arrangement. Never allow a woman to convince you that your red flags make you unattractive. It is quite literally the opposite.
If he's a Catholic, deal breaker. Glory to God in the highest, and peace to his people on earth. I can't date an atheist. If he says there's no God, then there is no God. He's a Trump supporter? Ugh, barf. Make America great again, baby. He voted for Obama? See ya. Obama is the greatest American in the history of America. Guys who listen to country music, disqualified. What? I love Garth Brooks. Rap music is a deal breaker. I got all of Fiddy's songs on my phone. If his goals don't align with mine, I can't be with him. His goals are my goals. If he doesn't want kids, I can't waste my time with him. I will waste my time trying to convince him to have kids.
If a woman likes you enough, she will change whatever she has to in order to be with you. Her religious beliefs, her political allegiances, her music preferences, and even her stance on children. Granted, if a woman wants kids, she will try to change her mind. But eventually, she will have to make a choice between staying with you and remaining childless or pursuing another relationship with a man who actually wants children. Either way, she will do whatever it takes to keep you in her life. Have you ever wondered how women are always lying and cheating but never seem to get caught? Ever been dumped or served divorce papers out of the blue without warning? Have you ever been completely blindsided by the shocking discovery of your wife or girlfriend's cheating? Of course you have. We all have. Hi, I'm Donovan Sharpe, and I have a lifetime of experience with women. Some experiences were great, others not so much. I've been cheated on, lied to, taken advantage of, you name it, it's happened to me. Most men these days are completely clueless about how women communicate. As men, we tend to communicate overtly, meaning we say what we mean and we mean what we say. Women, on the other hand, communicate covertly, which means what they say and what they mean are often two very different things, and therein lies the problem. It's much more difficult to understand covert communication. And because women communicate covertly, it is often challenging, if not impossible, to read between the lines and decipher what they're really telling us. And guess what? Women know this. Worse yet, they know we don't know. And because of this, it is very easy for them to lie to, deceive, mislead, and manipulate us. So now the question is, how do we crack the code? How do we learn to decipher what women are really telling us so that we can act accordingly? Welcome to Womanese 101, what she says versus what she means. As someone who's fluent in Womanese, I will teach you how to interpret the statements women make. Not only will being fluent in Womanese make you much better with women, it will drastically reduce the odds of being taken advantage of by them. Everything from what they say in relationships, how they tell us they aren't interested in a sexual relationship, to how they tell us they're cheating on us, I will translate over 500 of the most common phrases that women use to mislead and deceive men. Like most men, I've had my share of heartbreak and frustrations with women. Probably a lot more than most if I'm being honest. But what these terrible experiences taught me was that you can never take what a woman says at face value. Remember, women communicate covertly, so what they say is almost never exactly what they mean. Never before has a course been created that gives men the raw, honest, and difficult truth about what women really mean when they overtly communicate with us. Men have never been given a guide that completely decodes verbal communication in such a way that helps men understand a woman's words versus a woman's intentions. Thanks to Womanese, those days are over. Womanese 101 will give you the ability to translate what women are really saying with shocking accuracy. Plus, having this skill has utility outside of dating and relationships. This will help you at work, on social media, at church, even with family and friends. The possibilities are endless. From young hot girls to divorcees to MILFs and even cougars, you will always know what women of all ages, all races, and all backgrounds are really telling you when they are speaking to you. So pay attention, take notes, and enjoy the ride. You're about to separate yourself from 97% of men. Okay, let's introduce the women who are going to change your life. Meet the girls of Womanese. Each one of them will play two characters, Gretchen the good girl and Brianna the bad girl. Allow me to explain. Every woman's social conscience has two departments. One department knows the unfiltered truth. Brianna the bad girl will represent this department. The other department figures out a way to spin that truth in such a way that absolves her of any wrongdoing, sidesteps accountability, makes her the victim, and puts her in the best possible light. This department will be represented by Gretchen the good girl.
Here's an example.
Women do not like being held accountable for their bad decisions. So when you hear,
Don't judge me.
what they mean is,
Don't hold me accountable for my bad decisions.
throughout this course, the girls of Womanese and yours truly will educate you on cracking the female communication code. The girls will portray Gretchen, who will tell you what women want you to think. Then they will play Brianna, who will tell you the raw truth. Then I will summarize and explain context. This is how you will become fluent in Womanese.
You're not one of those shallow guys, are you? I'm shaming you into allowing me to get fat, but stay with me.
Girls ask this all the time because they know that maintaining their girlish figure takes constant work. And because girls don't like to work for anything, much less a man's attention and commitment, they attempt to trick you into verbally lowering your physical standards. Then, when she gets fat and you dump her, she can say, "You said you weren't shallow." Your answer here is, aren't we all? 9 times out of 10, she'll nod in agreement.
I travel a lot for work. I use the traveling excuse to sleep with other guys.
Any woman who travels for work sleeps around, period. If she tells you she travels for work, she's telling you she's not girlfriend material. Act accordingly and just fuck her, nothing more.
I'm separated from my husband. I'm not separated, I'm just cheating.
Married women know that there are some men who won't fuck them if they know they're married. So they lie and say they're separated. I've plenty of wives, and most of them tell me they're either separated, about to be separated, or that they live in separate houses. This is almost never true. Wives are epic guys. Do not be fooled by the lies they tell you to make themselves feel better about cheating on their husbands.
My kids come first. I don't like you that much, so I'm using my kids as a screen.
When a woman tells you this, it always means that she's going to put you in the friend zone. Women are terrible mothers and act selfishly when nobody's looking. But if she's not turned on enough by you, she will preemptively activate the buffer she'll use to keep you at a distance. The guys they're behind their husbands' backs are never told, "My kids come first." Women make time for what they want, and if they want you, you'll never hear about her kids.
I've traveled to so many different countries. I've slept with a lot of guys in different countries.
Women are always epic when they travel, and age doesn't seem to matter. Whether she's a young, hot college girl on spring break, a married mother of 3 on a girls' trip, or cougars on their How Stella Got Her Groove Back trip, they take copious amounts of when they travel. It never fails. Any woman who's traveled with her girlfriends or alone has been by men around the world.
My last, 3 or 4 girlfriends, they've all cheated on me, and I was always kind of surprised when I found out.
I thought she was separated. She told me she had her own place. Come to find out, she was still married. I couldn't believe it.
She kept trying to have unprotected sex with me.
At first, she told me she was happily married, but she still gave me her number, which was a little confusing.
She told me, don't worry, I'm on the pill.
If you're happily married, why are you giving me your number?
I'd hear them say things like, I've been single for a year, or, oh, I haven't had a serious relationship in like forever.
I don't want kids, she said.
Then her husband found out about this.
And finally, she wore me down.
He came to my job. He was pissed, and I don't blame him. I would be too.
She told me she was pregnant. Turns out I wasn't the father because she'd been sleeping with 2 other guys. I was relieved, but I was also devastated. I mean,
Will MGTOWs and Red Pill guys ever see eye to eye? Is there a problem or an issue or even a disagreement in the first place? If not, what can we do to present a more united front? Better Bachelor joins the panel to discuss next. The Six starts right now. What's up, guys? It's your man, Donovan Sharpe, and welcome to this edition of The Six, presented by The Black Man's Guide Out of Poverty, written by Aaron Clary. That's right. Aaron Clary, a white guy, has written a book called The Black Man's Guide Out of Poverty. Be sure to pick it up. You can pick it up at Amazon, I believe. You can also go to CaptainCapitalism.com to pick up your copy today. Okay, let's get right to it. Our special guest, of course, is none other than the Better Bachelor himself. Congratulations to him for cracking the 300,000 subscriber mark. You guys all know who he is. He is Joker from Better Bachelor. Joker, listen, man, we greatly appreciate you hanging out with us tonight.
Man, I appreciate it. I'm glad to be here. I don't get involved in. I mostly do videos and then get the hell away from the computer. So a lot of this back and forth is new to me, so I'm going to learn something here as we talk, I'm sure.
Listen, Joker is so underground, he has no idea that there is a disagreement, I guess, between MGTOWs. Before we get started, let's go ahead and introduce tonight's esteemed panelists. First up, the man who is the reason why they call Tony Stark the White Hotep Jesus. Hotep Jesus, what's going on, brother?
What's happening? It's your boy Hotep Jesus.
We in the building. You already know what time it is.
He switched it up on us. Next, of course, is the man out on the West Coast. That is Coach Greg Adams. What's going on, brother?
Back in here with another video. Shout out to you guys. Appreciate you for having me once again.
Absolutely. I wanted to hear that. That shit is funny as hell when you do it on your videos, man. Shit cracks me up every time. Next up, the man out in the 305 who happens to he's probably the fittest panelist. Myron, 5% body fat gains down there in the 305. What's going on, brother?
Hey, what's up, man? Thank you for having me on the show. Happy to be here.
Oh, Myron is subdued tonight.
Hold on, Don.
What's up?
You get Myron's name right. He is Myron Get the Fuck Out Game.
Yo, Myron was kicking bitches out of his place. He's like, yo, get the fuck out. The fuck out.
Yeah, man. I mean, when they misbehave, you gotta let them know what time it is.
Hashtag Frank Castle. Frank Castle. Next up, our next panelist, the only panelist who has ever eaten fried chicken on the air. That's right. He's Mr. Lucario.
You make that shit sound so racist, but yeah. What's popping with you guys? What's good, man? Glad to be here. Shout out to everybody on the panel. Shout out to everybody in the chat. And let's get it going.
Okay, good stuff. Last but certainly not least, he is the ordained minister of the streets. It is Minister Jap.
Oh, man. Church in the building. Blessings to y'all, man. Appreciate you having me on, Don.
Good stuff. And actually, my bad, I guess last but certainly not least, it's Joker. I think I already did an intro for Joker.
Yeah, just the guy at the bottom of the list.
Yeah, there you go.
I'll see how it is.
Now, we were discussing this off the air. You are the first all-the-way white guy we've ever had on the panel. John Somnez, I'm pretty sure, has Hispanic in him. I'm pretty sure I could probably find out from him. But listen, all jokes aside, we greatly appreciate you, giving up your Sunday evening to discuss this very, very important issue with us. So I guess I'll go ahead and start this off with a short story, and I'll try to make this as short as possible. About a year and a half, 2 years ago, I got an email from one of my patrons that says, hey, man, somebody in Coach Greg Adams' crew was calling you out. And I'm like, why is he calling me out? Because you went after MGTOWs. And I'm like, why would Coach Greg Adams come after me? Because Coach Greg Adams is a MGTOW. And I'm like, that guy's a MGTOW? So I reached out to CGA immediately. We did an on-air, we aired it out. We did a live stream for all the world to see. And obviously we ironed out our differences. We figured out, wait a minute, we really don't have any disagreement. And from that humble beginning, we now have this. And just to be clear, CGA, I don't know if you label yourself a MGTOW still, or is that just something, or is it just 5% lifestyle? I don't want to put words in your mouth.
Well, not 5%. Free agent lifestyle is the lifestyle. But when I came into this, that's the umbrella that I came into it.
Okay.
So the brothers that walk in that and they say they're going to go their own way, they go their own way. I'm with them. I rock with them. I understand them. And the reality is it's their own way. And so I think that's the main point. People try to lump them together and it gets confusing. And then people try to speak out and represent the flag, and it's all over the place.
Gotcha. No, listen, I completely understand. I didn't want to group you in with anybody. And of course, labels at this point, they're getting ridiculous. Here's what's going on, Joker. Joker he's on his bus. He's almost done. He's getting ready to travel the world. All Joker does is creates content. So he's kind of like myself in that he doesn't really know that there could be some sort of a beef going on. The long and the short of what's happening is that red pill content creators, MGTOWs and red pill content creators, we're totally cool with each other. The issue is our audiences. Red pill audiences are always going at MGTOW audiences and vice versa. And they seem to be going at each other. We want you to debate this guy. We want you to debate this guy. And there's really nothing to debate because we agree on 99% of the fundamentals. So I guess listen, Joker, I guess I don't want to call you the king of the MGTOWs, but you're the guy that most MGTOW content listeners point to when we say MGTOWs are this, MGTOWs should do that, or MGTOWs, Coach Greg Adams or Joker said this and did that. What are your thoughts on the differences between red pill content creators and MGTOW content creators and their audiences?
Well, I'll break it down like this. Take someone like Eddie the Beast Hall, right?
Mm-hmm.
Man can deadlift 1,000 pounds. You might call him the most elite weightlifter ever. And then you got this guy over here that he might be 5'6" tall. He's a marathon runner, or maybe someone like I'll try to think of a name everybody knows, like David Goggins, right?
Okay.
Man runs 100-mile ultra marathons.
Yeah.
Both are peak athletes in their own fields, but David Goggins cannot squat lift 1,000 pounds, and Eddie Hall probably couldn't run 5 miles to save his life. Neither one is wrong. Neither one is a non-athlete. They're both very elite. The only difference is how they choose to participate in the dating or in their athletics. Red pill, I think all MGTOW are red pill. I think all red pill are kind of almost MGTOW, depending on how you break it up.
Okay.
Men going their own way is just a philosophy. It's not a movement. It's not anything. It's just a philosophy of, hey, I'm going to keep what's mine. I'm not going to let the law get involved. I'm not going to let women take advantage of me. And many of them say, I will even date, but I'm, again, not going to live with them, not going to cohabitate with them, not going to let get married to them, not probably going to have kids with them and to let the law into my life. But a lot of guys that are going their own way still get escorts, still casually date, still do friends with benefits, still do the hookup culture. Some even do short and long term. I don't know where the breakoff is between guys going their own way and red pill. I've never really worried about it. Some of my advice is for guys that don't want anything to do with women, and some of my advice is for guys that are, hey, if I want to date, how do I do X, Y, Z? I think it's all of it's under the umbrella of athletes. It's all under the umbrella of red pill. So I don't think there has to be a breakoff. The difference is some men, I think, put effort and find it important to bed women. Other men don't. That's really all I see the differences
Listen,
are.
some men wait for the cheese pizza to come to their door. Some men go out and order the cheese pizza. I think as you
Wait. I'm a little confused.
Okay.
Would you say that MGTOW is avoiding women?
Some guys do. Some guys do.
Some.
Yep. And again, this is where it gets tricky. There are some guys that are MGTOW that say, I might even order a body camera. I don't go to female clerks at the checkout line. That there are some men that go that way.
Okay.
But in the same umbrella,
a body camera.
Well, guys get pretty paranoid when they start joking. They're not being serious. So,
okay.
Okay. But they're like, hey,
principle.
look at the new laws that just came out in the UK, in London, where now misogyny is going to be a crime, a hate crime.
Yeah.
Well, what is misogyny? Like, let's label it, because now they're saying a wolf whistle might be misogyny. Staring at a woman might be misogyny.
Right.
Bumping into a woman accidentally might. So all of a sudden you start saying, like, okay, if these were well-defined laws, I know how to protect myself. But these aren't we know how it is, right, fellas? It's the good-looking guy asks a girl out.
Yep.
Oh, that's okay. An ugly guy says the same thing to her. Oh, he's harassing me because he's not attractive. Well, how are the ugly, unattractive, or whatever guys that may not really be the guys that can go out there and easily get women or are physically not extremely attractive? How do they go about their lives without getting cornered into legal trouble? A lot of guys really don't run away from women for being women, although the ultra, feminists kind of, I think, scare everybody. But what they start worrying about is, where are some of these laws going, and what's going on with this stuff? And when you, even some of the men's rights activists fall under part, it's just a really big, really big, and everybody wants to tell everybody else in the tent, hey, you're not doing it right, or you should do this, or you don't date because you're a loser or incel, and it's like everybody wants to prove everybody else wrong, instead of saying, hey, you know what? The way I do it is my own way. You do yours, and whatever makes you happy.
And you want to know something?
The way it should be.
And you want to know something? I'm as guilty as anybody for doing that. Hell, man, as recently as 6 months ago, I was the guy that said, listen, you have to have the masculine burden of performance. Men have to pursue women. But again, when you hear about these kinds of laws, and things are changing very rapidly, these are very nebulous laws. You can be found, masculinity is being legislated out of men. So I can understand why men want nothing to do with women on any level, not even to have a grocery store clerk that's a female. Let me come to CGA here next, because what Joker just described sounds kind of like a red pill guy. I'm going to keep what's mine. I'm going to date a little. I might smash chicks. I'm not going to overly invest in the pursuit of women. I might invest a little more in some ways than others, but for the most part, I'm going to keep what's mine. I can be alone. If I'm served cheese pizza, as Joker calls it, I'm going to take it. Sometimes I'll go hunt for it. What are your thoughts on some of the, I guess, the more subtle nuances between MGTOW and red pill guys?
I think the main one is a guy that says he's under the MGTOW umbrella would not give dating advice.
Okay.
Right? I think that would be the main difference. I think once you say red pill, there's still an aspect of pursue. There's still 100%. An aspect of PUA. There's still an aspect of a bunch of things. I think when you say I'm MGTOW, I'm not going to encourage you, give you strategies for dating. Now, people could ask us, they could say, what would you do in this situation? Well, I'd still date. I still do these things. But I'm not going to push you out there, because then we have all of these things that we say worry about, the law. See, I think red pill does worry about the law, but I think MGTOW guys are going to say the law, right? They're going to be like, the law is this, the law is that. And that's what we need to worry about more than getting women. So in essence, well, I always say it like this. The best thing about the MGTOW philosophy is this. I'm not the king of it. Joker's not the king of it. I mean, there's guys with probably 5,000 subs that's been talking about it for 10 years, and they were the monks. They were like the MGTO. See, I think MGTOW has evolved greatly over the last 5 years, because there's guys that have been abused by the law, and then they come in and they look at all of the red pill options and they go, well, picking up women is not a problem for me. They look at all of these options and say, well, I don't need pickup. What I need is to understand why the law did me wrong. Then they'll fall under that umbrella. And then what happens is people stick them then. They go say, oh, well, then if you believe that, you fall under all these things. Well, there has been an evolution of guys that say, well, I'm MGTOW, but I'm MGTOW, but, and that's what the free agent lifestyle gave men options. When I said free agent lifestyle, it took my subscriber base up exponentially because it didn't pigeonhole guys into MGTOW philosophy. So I think the only difference is everybody's red pilled, everybody's talking the same stuff. The only difference is when you come to my channel, I'm not telling you this is how you're going to do better with women.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
It's just a different call to action. That's how I see it.
I remember when I made my appearance, I made an appearance on your show, and then I had you on my show. People dubbed us very aptly the offensive coordinator and the defensive coordinator of the Red Pill. And I think, or of, I guess, of the Manosphere. And listen, same team, different strategy. And I would go as far as to say, I'm going to come to Myron with this one. Myron, I believe that one of the main differences between guys who skew more toward MGTOW, they're a little bit more risk averse. Guys who skew more towards Red Pill are a little more risk tolerant. You among them. Now you just turned 31 years old. You're a young guy. You're down there in Miami. It is pussy paradise out there. We got girls, hoes running around giving away their bodies like it's Halloween candy, and you are out here trick or treating. So, yeah. In your opinion, what's the difference mainly between Red Pill guys and MGTOW guys in terms of their dealings with women?
Yeah, so this is an excellent question. I was actually taking notes while CJ and
yes, here we go.
And the thing is this: I say, so let's define what the Manosphere is, right? It's a group of men, right? And what is the unifying thing between all the different groups, whether it's PUA, RP, MGTOW, MRAs, I'd even lump in TradCons and coaches, free agent lifestyle movement. What is it? It's a fundamental understanding of female nature. That is the unifying underlying thing between all of them. And I would say RP, where we're going to say like PUA, RP, MGTOW, whatever, it's no different than a chef, a serial killer, your mom, or your girlfriend. What do all of those people have in common? Well, they all use a knife to make culinary treats, and use either culinary treats or to kill people. But they're all using a knife. What they used to do with the intent of the knife is different, but they're all using the same tool. Okay. And that's what I would say is all these different factions in the Manosphere understand to some degree the unflattering realities of female nature, and they either decide to participate in the sexual marketplace or they decide to not. And here's the thing. Me being here in Miami, I'm just going to be very honest about this. This place, major cities in general, in the West, United States, whatever, I don't blame guys for going their own way because, quite frankly, most women are useless and bring nothing to the table outside of sex. If you guys don't believe me, check out my podcast where I'm freaking Leonidasing these chicks all the time. You know what I'm saying? And I have a very low tolerance for BS with women. So I will tell you guys here, as a guy that's in the game in a very competitive city where hypergamy is on steroids, most women are not worth any type of serious commitment. But, right? I get it that guys want to get sexual access and they want to learn how to get girls. What we do is we teach guys how to navigate the marketplace intelligently in a way where you're not going to get fucked up by these women. Because yes, a lot of women nowadays are looking for a come up. A lot of girls are vultures, and it's a completely different marketplace. The days of being a gentleman and everything else like that, it's over. You know what I'm saying? You got to play the game by a new set of rules. And I tell guys all the time, you need to date like women do. You know what I'm saying? You don't adhere to traditional, TradCon ideals back in the 50s where you're going to be a gentleman, whatever. You're going to get you finessed because these girls are bringing bazookas and people are out here trying to be a nice guy with a knife to a bazooka fight. You're going to lose. So I say, if you want to get into the dating marketplace, you want to deal with women, you want to deal with the opposite gender, you need to have this knowledge. Otherwise, you're going to get finessed. You're going to take an L. God forbid you get married to one of these women or you move in with them, whatever it is, and you put yourself into like some kind of legal liabilities. That's the problem. And I would say RP awareness, aka the knife, is what everyone understands to some degree. You know what I'm saying? Of the unflattering realities of female nature. How you respond to it is up to you. But there is definitely an understanding of the problem, which is what? Hypergamy is on steroids. It's unchecked. There's inherent disadvantages to being a man in today's society, especially when it comes to marriage and love. Yeah. And quite frankly, the law isn't on your side a lot of the time, especially when it comes to family court. So as long as guys are educated and understand these fundamental things, as far as what the RP teaches, you navigate how you want. But to not know these things is going to fuck you up. That's why anyone that's a dating coach or involved with talking about intersexual dynamics, if they don't talk about RP truths, no one's going to take them seriously because now it's starting to get out there on the mainstream. Hell, you got Tim Pool out here talking about RP truths on the mainstream live stream where they're talking about older women that are successful aren't being able to get married. They're not getting in relationships, whatever. So the RP is slowly starting to hit mainstream media. Now, is it ever going to get to the point where we have an understanding like us? I don't think so, but I think as more and more guys start to get ostracized from the sexual marketplace, from how competitive it is, right? And there was a study done back in 2018 that showed this. The majority of virgins nowadays are men, not women.
Yeah, right.
Okay? So more and more guys are finding this kind of content. So how you decide to respond to it is up to you. But I think the main important thing is to understand female nature and learn how to navigate it correctly, or not navigate at all. I ain't going to knock you, but you got to know this type of stuff.
Before I go to Lucario, let me ask you this, Joker. Do you think the red pill is ever going to go mainstream? I mean, do you think they're ever going to talk about this stuff on TV? And then we'll go to Lucario?
Not TV, because TV's for old people. I mean, let's face it. It's boomers and up that still watch TV. That's why mainstream news is not watched much by younger people. I cut the cord, I don't know, a decade ago. I think most people have. But I think what's happening is, as much as we say, well, it's not mainstream yet, go to 9gag, which is the number 9, GAG.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And it's a meme site. Just scrolling through Hot or Fresh or Top or whatever, 1 out of every 10, 1 out of every 20 is somebody making fun of women for their actions. It's guys making a funny meme about it's red pill related. Like, we can look at it and say, oh, that's red pill.
Yes.
Or that's manosphere stuff. But, the normal average guy looks at that and it's resonating with him. I pulled up a graph in one of my videos I just did a day or two ago from the Washington Post. 27% of men from 30 back to 18. So they polled men and they said, from the age of 18 to 30, have you had sex? And 27% of them said no.
That's the study I was referring to. That's
right. Same thing. So now you can say, well, under 18, did they? Well, of course not. But you can only go back to the legal age, I'm sure, in this poll. So you got, up to 30 years old, a little bit over a quarter, almost working its way onto a third of men that are virgins. And let's face it, I don't see a whole wave of religious zealots coming out saving themselves for marriage. So you can say, we used to joke, and I know I've heard Coach say this, we used to joke / talk about the 80-20 rule. Man, it's damn near 95-5
Easy.
Now. It's, there are women out there that he better be 6 foot tall, 6-pack, packing more than 6 inches, but he also needs to have a full head of hair. He's got to be this. He's got to be college educated. And all of a sudden, guys are saying, look, they're pushing OnlyFans. They're pushing the sugar daddy, sugar baby sites. Guys are going to reach a point, I think. It's gone, and I know I'm going on a tangent.
No, go ahead.
I'll bring it back around. I think what young men are realizing is hey, I don't get a shot in my 20s. And then when I get into my 30s, these women that I know have been out there playing for 15 years come to me. They've had their fun. They haven't saved. They may have drinking problems. They might have a kid or 2 by multiple fathers. And then they're knocking on the door going, hey, you're doing really well. Mind if I step into your life? And men are saying, you know what? Nah. Because when I wanted somebody to kind of go along with me, you just showed up at the finish line, want to take my hand and step across the line right at the last minute after I ran a marathon, and you took a nap in the car. And young men are catching on to this. And I think what's happening now is, especially in the guys going their own way, they've said, something, I don't have a chance. I'm going to focus on me, my happiness, my money, my success, my career, my travels, my adventures. And then when I really get to the point where I'm like, man, I either need to hit the gym for 2-3 years and get a 6-pack and do X, or they can just say, hey, you know what? Sugar daddy, escort site, whatever. Here's $300, $400, $500. Get my freak on, do that once or twice a month because I chased my career and I make good money now.
Right.
I'm not paying them for the fun. I'm paying them to leave me alone now. Charlie Sheen made that famous. I think it's out there. When channels like mine and Coaches and yours, are just blowing up. And then you go to some true dating coaches and their numbers aren't growing nearly as fast. I think a lot of guys may go to the dating stuff, try it out, and they go, geez, you got to be kidding me, dude. This is it's Sisyphus. You're pushing the boulder all the way up the hill just to have it roll back down. You start at the bottom again, and guys are going, damn, this is a lot of work for
We're not
what?
trying to do that.
At the end of the day, I'm just working for a series to borrow a few holes for an hour a day. Forget it. Just forget it.
I got a quick point here too.
Yeah, sure, go ahead.
So if you guys, I'm sure you guys catch the Fresh Fit podcast after hours. What we like to do is we like to bring ladies in and ask them questions. And I will say this, women are fucking delusional.
Yeah, right.
One of the first questions we ask at the beginning of every interview, and we had CJ in the house for it too. Coach probably remembers this. We asked the girls, well, what do you rate yourself on a scale of 1 to 10? Overwhelmingly, guys, a lot of these girls say, oh, I'm a 9, I'm a 10. I don't think I've heard anything under an 8, really. And then we ask them, well, okay, what type of man do you want? You know, typically it's $100,000 a year, at least 6 feet tall, etc. So they overestimate themselves. And then on top of that, they want a guy who is like the top. Most of these women describe a man that's in the top 5 to 10%. And then to make it even funnier, I ask the women all the time, what percentage of guys do you think are sexually active with women? And they always say 70, 80, 90%. So it goes to show.
Because 70 or 80% of the ones they see are. The rest are invisible. The bottom 80% don't exist.
100%. 100%. I've made that point. Listen, I've made that point many times. The reason why, and I'll let Myron finish this point, then we'll get to Lucario. The reason why there are so many women who truly believe that men cheat more than women. The reason they think men cheat more than women is because they're not talking about the average Joes. No, they're talking about the top 10%. Why? Because the bottom 90% of men are invisible to 90% of women. This is why.
And the thing is, I would say it's even more pronounced if you're like in a major city where there's, you know, it's very competitive. Like here in Miami, obviously we have the most beautiful women in the United States. You know, no one touches. We beat LA, we beat New York City. I've been to both, and they don't come close to the amount of girls that we have here that are hot. So we have the highest concentration of attractive girls here. So obviously the hypergamy is going to be. I think we got California beat, Coach.
Uh-oh. Are we going to get
Yo. I think we got California. That's not true. Hey, don't let them lie to you. Don't let.
I love it.
Don't let them lie to you. LA got you beat, brother.
Hey, you know what?
Got everybody beat.
Coach, maybe we'll put it this way. It's a tie, but Florida has 0% state tax.
Hey, neither does the state of Nevada, and we do pretty good.
But just to finish up, guys, like these interviews have been, obviously we know all this stuff in the sphere, but to hear women like, you know, go ahead and say it outright, out loud, in person in a podcast studio, goes to show what we've been saying. Hey, we're pretty much on the money that most women deal with the apex fallacy, right? As Rolo says. So, guys, I say it like this, man. Like some guys decide they don't want to go into the marketplace, but the thing is this. Yes, I agree that only 10, I would say maybe 10 to 15% of guys are banging all the girls. You can get in that 10 to 15%, but it is going to take work. And I can see how some guys like, whatever. But here's the other thing too. Not only do you got to get into that percent, you also got to learn game. I'm a big advocate with Lucario on that just because you become successful and get the money doesn't necessarily mean you're going to get the women. You'll still get the women, but you're going to get them under terrible pretenses. They ain't going to respect you. They ain't going to take you seriously. They're going to look for a come up. So I would say to be an apex male where you're smashing chicks, you have to, and not getting finessed, not only do you have to be successful and make money, but you also have to understand female nature and not get used. You need both. It used to be where you could just have game and you'll be okay. Nowadays, Instagram and the way hypergamous girls are nowadays, you need to also have some kind of clout and money as well to help with that. And but if you only have the money and you don't have game, well, you're going to take an L. It's just going to be, you know, you're going to get finessed.
Now, Lucario, you have made your stance. Well, I don't want to put words in your mouth, but I think I don't want to go on record with this, but I think you have been an advocate of not anti-MGTOW, but you're like, listen, man. You got to learn these women to be successful with them. If you can't want women, you can't just expect women to just fall all over you just because you're a man. You have to learn. Am I off with that? What is your thought on men who check out of the dating market?
Yeah, well, the thing is, as far as MGTOW was concerned, when I first, like, I didn't know what that was at first. So I remember this is years ago, people brought it to my attention, and I was like, what the hell is a MGTOW? And it was like, it stands for men going their own way. So I was like, that didn't make sense to me because I thought men were supposed to go their own way. You know what I'm saying? That's what I thought at first. And that was like one of the first videos I did on a MGTOW. I said, what's the point of calling yourself MGTOW if you're supposed to be a man in the first place? That was my thought on it. But the thing is that what I've found, and I've heard like so many different definitions of what it is, because I would talk about it and they're like, no, it's not that. It's this. It's not that. You don't get
it.
Right. You don't get what it is.
Yeah, right.
So from what I've seen, you know, and from what I've heard and what I've been looking at on YouTube, to me, in my opinion, a lot of it to me sounds like a lot of cope, if I'm gonna be honest, a lot of dudes. So what it is dudes who actually want to be with women and get the women they want to get, but they can't. So they'll have the excuse of, I'm MGTOW, I'm not messing with them. Can
I comment on that real quick?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, there's two ends of the spectrum. There's the incel. Man, I never got a chance.
Okay.
I'm a nerd. I'm not going to the gym. I got no money. I live at home. F women because they don't want me, so I'm going to hate them. There's that end of the spectrum. Then the other end of the spectrum is almost what he was talking about in Miami. You got to be a top 5 or 10% man. You got to have game. You got to have money. You got to have and you know what? There are men that have that. Coach, I've heard some of Coach's stories. Coach has played the field.
Dude, Coach, run through them hoes, man. Don't get it twisted.
I lived down in Miami. I was actually in Boynton Beach, right between West Palm Beach and Miami Beach, and I used to go both ends. And you learn game, and this is back in 1995. There weren't you're lucky to have a pager,
right?
So there's no text game. You had to do it old school of walking up to a girl to her face and put yourself out there.
Real talk.
You die by the sword, or you live by the sword. And after you fall on it enough times, you learn. Well, those men, after a while, go, okay, I got game. I go to the gym. I got this. I got this. I got this. I got this. It's not worth it. Like, I just don't care about taking girls out and getting some that bad. I just would rather spend my time alone. I got my hobbies. I got my boys to hang out with. I ride motorcycle. I got this. I got that. And I am good looking enough that if I just try a little bit here and there, I can get a date here and there enough to meet my needs. I don't have to go out and slay everything that's out there. I, get a little bit here and there.
Fair enough.
Or other guys just say, or you know what? They don't care what I look like when I give them $400 for an hour or whatever. And there are guys that do that too.
Right.
But that's all the same branch of guys going their own way.
Okay.
It's guys that have hit it and quit it. And it's the guys that never had a chance. And they just say, all MGTOW really means is, I got better stuff to do. I just can't be bothered with all that.
Okay, fair enough. And it's funny, there are probably some MGTOWs. Joker totally owned the red pill guys, and we'll address that a little bit later. Listen, there is a faction of guys who call themselves MGTOWs who just want to see guys like you and Turd Flinging Monkey just come on and own us, and that's not going to help anybody. Lucario, I'll give you the last word on that discussion there.
No, and the thing you got to understand is that when it comes to this whole thing about guys, because see, it's the labeling of what it is. Because, for example, I used to have a lot of MGTOW guys on my channel trying to learn games. So I was like, and these were guys I was like, oh, fuck these women and blah. So I'm like, why are you here? And then I've actually had dudes who had MGTOW channels who are now coaches trying to teach the game that they got from me, which I thought was kind of strange.
Oh, wow.
So this is what I'm saying, where I feel like there's a lot of, it's one of those things where you have, like, if a guy is going to hit it and quit it, right? Usually that means he has game to be able to acquire women generally to hit it and quit it. So if he has that type of game, usually he would have never been the type of guy to say that he's MGTOW. You understand what I'm saying? Because he's already doing it.
Right. But what about the incel that's today 22 years old? He lives at home with mom and dad. He's going to college. He's getting an education. He's invisible to women because he's in debt. He's a college kid. He may not hit the gym. He may be a guy going his own way. And he says, you know what? I'm not going to be bothered with women. But one day he hits 28 or 32. He's been going to the gym. He now has a good income, but he's awkward as hell. And he says, you know something? I'm getting close to that top 10, 15. Maybe I can get a foot in the door. Maybe I changed my mind about going my own way. And I still know all the logic of it, but I would like to go out and have some game. Those would be the guys that would be stepping in. Again, it's
right, man. I agree with you, because, and this is what I was saying earlier about, you're saying the MGTOW channels are blowing up, and that's because most guys are like that. You understand what I'm saying? Like, the dudes, they gravitate to it because that's where they're at now. You feel what I'm saying? So that's what they sort of relate to.
And listen, and in their defense, the 22-year-old guy, and we're going to come to Hotep next, because I think he can offer some good insight on this. The point is this, man, when you're a 22-year-old guy here, especially in 2021, you're useless. From 18 to 25, you're useless. And we tell guys in my community all the time, listen, I know you're a walking hard-on, and I know you want to smash pretty girls because you got testosterone coming out of your eyeballs. Use this time. Use this 7, 8, 9 years. Listen, go out there and get hurt by women, but don't concentrate on that. Get your body right, get your mind right, get your finances right. This way, and having a little bit of experience with women, this way, obviously with a little bit of education, when you do hit the big 3-0, you're ahead of most guys. Don't get me wrong. It is discouraging to go out there and get bludgeoned by the dating market. And at this point, just like Joker said, it's a choice. Some guys might think, you know what? I think I've got enough game and enough status to be able to go out and be successful with women. Some guys might say, you know what? I think I want to check out. Either way, to me, I think it comes down to a choice. Hotep, let me get your thoughts on this whole MGTOW thing, because I think this is probably the first real discussion you've heard with this in it. What are your thoughts and what are you thinking so far? And we'll come to Jap after this.
This shit sound crazy to me, dog. I understand it, right? Like I get it. There's a lot of dangers, especially legally. Like that's
yeah.
It's pretty wild to me, some of the things you guys are saying. I don't know. I can't really wrap my mind around it. It's so new to me. You know, when you guys talking about men avoiding.
Let me ask you something. And this is kind of a softball question. You don't strike me as the type of guy who's ever had problems with women, who's ever had problems attracting women. Am I right?
Yeah, I think that's why it's so hard for me to understand.
Right, and I think that's the disconnect. Alan Roger Curry and I had this heated discussion on O'Shea's show. It was me, him, and Alpha Male Strategies had a slight disagreement, but talking to him, it hit me. He's Alan Roger Curry. ARC has always been spectacular with women. This is why he can never wrap his mind around the fact that guys can't just walk up and go mode 1 with women because he's ARC. It's the same as guys like us saying, what are you talking about? You're going to check out of the dating market. All you have to do is X, Y, and Z, and, you know, watch out for A, B, and C, and you're good. And those other guys are like, yeah, but these kinds of things are happening. And it's easy for us to say, focus on your finances and your body and this and that and the other, when we've already had all of the pie. We've already had all the juice, right? It's easy for us to tell guys not to focus on something when we've had it before.
I think I got to tell a story.
Go ahead, story time.
I think women ruin men.
Oh, of course, yes.
And it starts at a very young age. And I remember I went to it was 2 stories, same girl, my first real girlfriend. And I showed up at our house to walk her to school. And she was annoyed that I showed up to walk her to school. And she like walked ahead of me and she was just dissing me. And I was just like, what? Damn, I thought I was doing something nice, you know? And I was this young, naive, innocent little boy. And then I went to Jamaica. And I can't say I was exactly faithful because I was kind of like the man in Jamaica. I was a young kid, 16. I had the adult wristband. I was getting alcohol for everybody. I had this one white girl with nice
white girl.
Rack. She I had a girlfriend on the resort, and then my girlfriend was like, you know, her parents are a little bit more strict. We were all like 16. So she had to go to the hotel room at a certain time, and a white girl walked me to her room. So she made out with me on the way there. I was like, I don't even know where that came from. But then when I came back, my girlfriend was like acting funny. And I don't know, I think she might've been trying to like talk to some other dude was flirting with her while I was gone or something like that. And then I remember somebody in her grade pulled me aside and started making out with me in like the staircase. So I'm like, wow, wait, I can have as many women as I want. Like
that's natural selection, man.
Yeah.
So, you know, I instantly became, I guess what you would say, a player or a dog. You know what I mean?
Right.
And so when people talk about like getting women, I like that never been a problem for me. Right. I've always been a ladies' man. When I was 17, I had 10 girls, like literally. Like I'd be on the phone with one, I'd pass the phone to my homie, I'd say, occupy her, keep her busy, hang up with her, tell her I'm busy while I'm on the phone with the next one, try to juggle all these chicks, right?
And I think, and listen, I'm going to come to Jap with this one. I think that right there, what Hotep just said, I think that is a major reason why there is a disconnect. Because in my opinion, I don't know, I don't have the statistics, it would appear that because not to say that MGTOWs could never be more successful with women. Listen, the more times, the more shots you take, the more you make, regardless of the percentages, right? It's a numbers game in basketball and in dating. But my guess is that red pill guys probably have more success with women just by sheer virtue of volume, and that's the main difference. We have more experience, I think, than most MGTOWs, and we're out here saying, "Listen,
but I would
guys."
Disagree with that because
go ahead, Greg.
I'm gonna get Jap to shine, but I think there's different entry points into MGTOW.
Okay.
There's guys that were married and they had successful relationships. They were married. Some were players. Some got a domestic violation charge, as I call it on my channel. Some got divorced great. And then they got on YouTube and then they found, oh, what is this? Well, the key danger for divorced men is that they hop right back into a marriage within the first 2 years.
Wow.
And when that happens, they get screwed double. And so what they're looking for is information. So the characterization of MGTOWs not being successful with women, I think is false.
Okay.
There is an element of that in that particular men who identify with that. And may I say, they're the most vocal element of that group. So if they tend to hop from channel to channel to channel to channel to channel and put their information out there because maybe they weren't successful. So you hear them, they're the vocal majority.
Okay.
But
Very good.
think about it. Terrence Pop.
Yeah.
He was a married guy, divorced, et cetera, et cetera. So if you think about it, me, myself, married, divorced, went through it. And that's what brought me in. It wasn't like, damn, I'm striking out with women. I can't get women.
Okay.
So I think it's a false characterization. Unfortunately, they're the guys that are going to come over to Lucario's channel.
Right.
And talk about, well, game is false. I wouldn't do that. If I'm an GTOW that got divorced, I'm not coming over to Lucario's channel to vocalize that. So that's where the difference is.
Okay.
I just
I stand correct. That makes all the sense in the world. Go ahead, Joker, and then we'll go to Jeff.
Most married guys are betas. That's the thing. So that's what happens.
They become beta.
They become beta.
Right.
They try to fit into the mold of the tradition.
They were beta.
So you got to think, man, like people are trained differently. Like I grew up in the city and the suburbs. Like I went to high school. I was in the city and the suburbs. So there's a two different type of mentality for a traditional man. And a guy that is trained to be traditional in a modern dating system, right? He's gonna get screwed over.
Yeah.
And he's looking at it like game ain't gonna help me in the suburbs. Game don't help guys in the suburbs like that. If you're in the city, you better have some game or you're gonna miss out on all the hoes. So it's a whole different approach. Not some guy that's just want to be married and have a family. The game aspect of it is not going to strike him as that's the missing element.
Right. And
he already is going to have women come after him. Go ahead, Lucario. What you got to say, bro?
I was going to say that guys like that, those are the ones who need the most game. That's what the problem is. People don't understand what game is about. So this is why even with
so you sound like a MGTOW guy saying you don't understand what MGTOW is about.
It's true though. It's true.
Okay. That's what it is.
No. But the thing is, what they've told me what MGTOW is about, it shows in the video. So I'm going off the base of what
the one video you saw.
I saw videos talking about, don't get married because women are going to, take half your shit and leave you and the child support.
I'm in that camp too. I'm not telling guys to get married.
That's the majority of marriages.
My point is that usually happens to guys who don't understand that they shouldn't have married a certain type of woman. Like I've been married I've been with my wife for 14 years. You understand?
Yeah, but Lucario, you're the statistical anomaly.
That is
man.
like you're the minority.
Not everybody is you.
Minorities in that situation. I mean, the statistics overwhelmingly look. What men understand, look at Lucario. What men understand about women, like it's not a game element. It is they got into a system that is going to fail them.
That's right.
Now, I always say this: you can hold all the masculine frame you want, you can pitch all the game you want. If you're in a declining marriage and she files paperwork to you, and then I go to Lucario's channel, all right, let me learn some game. It's too late, right? Would you say it's too late?
Is it too late? It's never too late.
Okay.
At that
it's not
point,
too late.
it's too late.
Okay, so
you got to take.
I'm going to tell you what. I want you to try that. I want you to find a married guy that's in the middle of a divorce right now. Okay, right in the middle of divorce. He in the middle of getting divorce raped. She hired the most bulldog attorney, and I want you to pitch. I want you to sell him on your system, and then I want you to get him to talk the wife out of divorce raping him.
That's not going to happen.
When you do that, I'll be sold on your system. I will sell your system nationwide.
Let me say this.
Game kings, baby.
And you tell them game.
Let me say this.
Get the wife to back off.
If a guy was in a car and he didn't know how to drive a car and he crashed the car, right? That's because he didn't learn how to drive the car before he got into the car.
But
so
that's listen, Lucario, hold on. That's the point. Is we're not taught to drive the car properly, Lucario. That's the problem.
Exactly what I'm saying. So I'm not going to say I'm never going to touch a car again. I'm going. Okay.
But what happens when you get in the car and you're driving the car correctly and the front ass wheel decides to go off to Tuesday and you're spinning off into a tower and you're like, I drove the car right. I checked the car before I got in it. Everything was going right. I played. I held my frame.
Well, the thing is, nothing's 100%, but most likely, if you know how to drive a car, you're not going to crash. That's
just the data where the data lines up. I mean, because Lucario's never been through a divorce, so
no, he hasn't.
This
is why he's risk.
Can I ask a question? Can I ask a question?
Yeah, go ahead.
You think Jeff Bezos is worried about getting divorce rate?
Okay, but he's the statistical anomaly.
Right,
He got divorce rate. He's the statistical anomaly. Look,
that's
average
but
American
hold on,
man
hold
is
on.
not Jeff Bezos.
But hold on. My point is, if you made a certain amount of money and she did divorce rape, you wouldn't care. You'd pay her to leave.
You could, and I always tell guys, you can afford to be divorced, right? If you have money, you might be able to absorb a divorce. But if you look at the data, most men are not in that situation.
Dude,
most men get married, they are broke when they get married.
I agree.
They barely got that woman.
Let me go to Jap before we read our super chats. Let me go to Jap because we haven't really given him enough airtime here. What are your thoughts on what you believe MGTOW is? Because one thing, and this is something I've admitted, I had MGTOW all wrong until I talked to Coach Greg Adams, and then I think I understand it better. Then he got some MGTOW guys who just don't like me and just tell me you still don't get it because I don't really give a shit. But I think that I have a much better understanding. What in your opinion, Minister Jap, what does MGTOW mean to you?
I think MGTOW is a great phase, and it should only be a phase in a man's growth and development. You know what I'm saying? Like, for instance, when I'm fucked up and I need to get my money right, I need to get myself together, people don't see me. And I know you was talking about the monk mode thing. I think that's great to fall back because I don't know what to call what I do. I told you women, I keep women in recreational. I treat women like pets and children. You know what I'm saying? So like if she come, like when I come to the door, I expect her to like jump into my lap like a dog or a kid or puppy. Like, I treat them like pets and children because I don't expect much from them. So my expectation is very low, but it came from experience. And I do understand where these men are coming from.
I think you're just like Hotep, Jap, because again, you're not a guy. You don't strike me as a guy who's ever really struggled. Listen, we've all been through heartbreak.
But this is the thing, and this is where I want to get to this point. Everybody on this panel has been through shit with women.
Yeah.
To this point, my problem with MGTOW is it has horrible representation.
Oh, okay.
So like when you really look into MGTOW, you'll come across a bunch of anonymous, easily attachable lames.
Okay.
So
a lot of avatars, in other words, right?
Correct. So and the guy that I seen, I can't remember his name. I think he was in Canada or something like that, but he didn't show his face or nothing like that. And he didn't go live. He just does these little monotone videos and he was telling people about MGTOW. We get everything. But I think that the red pill actually has requirements. You know what I'm saying? Because like, for instance, and no disrespect to Tom Likas, I like Tom Likas. I like what he says, but we have to be truthful. It's easy for Tom Likas to be MGTOW by default.
Okay.
All you have to do is have money, you be out of shape.
And be Tom Likas.
You know what I'm saying? I can't see him really chopping it and having the best conversation with a woman. It's pay to play. I get it from that aspect, but does that really put value on yourself or you putting value on the bitch?
Well, can I drop in with something real quick?
Go ahead.
How much value if I I got a Nalgene here that's filled with protein powder. How hard would you work for that? Are you going to go to the gym for 3 years to get my Nalgene? No. Are you going to try to make millions of dollars to get access to my Nalgene? No. Why? Because you don't want my Nalgene. A lot of guys are like that with women now. And a way that it does happen, I know Coach did this. I know myself, I've done this. I know all you guys have done this. You go out there and you play the game. And all of a sudden you realize there's girls with boyfriends on your tip.
Yeah.
There's girls with husbands on your tip.
Yeah.
There's another girl with a husband. There's all of a sudden you realize they don't care about the men they have. They are looking for something different or better to get the butterflies, or they just down DTF for the night, whatever. Well, after a while, you realize every woman has that capacity to some degree.
Sure.
And you have to be the best of the best of the best man to hold on to her. And so a lot of men have just
you can always get outbidded by the next man. I've always preached that women go to the highest bidder. But what I'm saying is this MGTOW community it allows people who are socially awkward to have an acceptance based on the fact that they're socially awkward instead of actually increasing their social skills. So some things are controllable, controlling the controllables. Like I don't hear a bunch of health and fitness. I don't hear a bunch of, I do hear stocks. I do hear money. I get that. But I don't hear the things to increase their sexual market value. Their actual interactions with women.
Listen, let me interject here, Jap, because we got two men on our panel who identify as MGTOW, who have been very successful with women and obviously have social skills.
I think they should just say red pill, and this is why, because the people who are associating with that community are making that name look bad.
Okay. The representation. I'm going to read off these super chats, and then I'm going to ask Joker.
I understand what you're doing. Like you know, when you controlling your situation, you know about you're analyzing from a logical standpoint what happens with these women and what you stand to benefit from,
but you're making these
don't have any real benefit to you, and they really are recreational use. I just feel that there are some people that you are allowing to attach to what you guys are, and they're anonymous. Plus, they're really awkward, and you don't have a threshold to say, "Listen, get your fucking self in shape, get your mind right."
But why? How is it my business to tell anybody else how to live their life? If a guy wants to hide his face and say that every woman is horrible and they're all witches and they should all XYZ, it's not my business to say, dude, get your head straight. That's his life. That's his channel. That's his word. That's not my business.
I'm not saying they don't have the right to say that, but what I'm saying is the actual umbrella of that construct, I think you should just stick with Red Pill, because Red Pill actually got fitness guys. Like it has great representation.
Wait, hold up.
Not always. Not always.
Let me interject with this.
It may be better representation.
Right.
Let me interject with this. Let me say this though. There are quote red pill pickup artists that do fake videos of them scoring with all these women on the beach and just buy their program because you can do this, and in the meantime you found out later on they got these girls lined up beforehand and paid them all $50 to come. Act like they were being picked up. That's just as bad for the red pill pickup community, but it's still red pill.
Now, see, here we go. Now, see, here's the thing. Now we're starting to get into other stuff. You just said red pill pickup community. Just like the MGTOW community has evolved over the last 5 years, so has the red pill community.
Right.
Listen, it used to be all about, I used to be a part of it, man. 24 signs, you can sleep with her on the first date. 3 things to say to her to get her to drop her panties. I think, and I understand what Jap is saying. And I'll be honest with you, there are actually probably more people in the red pill ranks who make our community look bad. I mean, I think we all know who those people are, but I think what Jap is saying is that it is, and I don't even think it's that. I just think that the MGTOW community has this quote unquote reputation. I think because they have the name MGTOW, right? Like there's so many people who call themselves MGTOWs who don't really represent the name of MGTOW correct. Why do you think, and I want to go to Joker, then Coach Greg, why do you think the MGTOW community has this quote unquote bad reputation for being whiners? Because the red pill community certainly has, we certainly have our scars over here too. Why do you think it has such a, I mean, you didn't know it, I guess, until today. Why do you think that is?
Well, I put up a video on my channel last year because there were guys literally talking about, like it would be great if women can't vote and they should all be buried in a ditch somewhere and the world would be better off with women. And I say, hey, you got to attack the ideas, not because otherwise you're just as bad as the blue-haired feminists.
Sure.
Saying all men should be dead. There are those guys under the umbrella. And all we can do as creators is saying, look, you have the opinions you have, but you are going down a path that is nothing but anger, and you're going down the dark side, right? It's nothing but anger and hate and misery. How about better come at this as I want to better understand women? And then with that understanding, you can say, either A, I want to play the game, in which there are plenty of content creators out there you can learn to game and get some social skills. I've even said on my videos, get these social skills.
Right.
Don't listen to me saying, hey, maybe you don't want to date. Go out there and experience it for yourself and find out for yourself. And then you can say, you know what, this isn't for me.
Okay.
Those guys are going to be in there all the way up through men that have been the players and the gamers and had the married women trying to get onto them and girls with boyfriends. And they go, if women are like this with me, who's to say when they're with me, they're not like this with somebody else? And maybe this isn't right for me. And then the last set of guys is men who just say, you know what, I just genuinely don't give and I don't care about women. Like, I don't value myself by how many I've slept with them. It's not important to me. I'd rather develop myself. I'd rather develop my finances. I'd rather live in the woods just leave me the hell alone and let me do my thing. And I think the red pill, one thing that they may misunderstand about some of the guys going their own way is not all men value themselves based on women. They don't look and say, I have slept with, not that all you guys do. I'm not putting that on any of you.
But I'll be honest with you, at one point in my life, I did. Like, dude, 5-10 years ago, I was like, listen, man, I banged 150 plus chicks. I'm the man. I'm 43 now. It's a little bit different these days, but we've all been there.
But there's some men that just say, I don't care about body counts. I don't care about, I just don't care. I'm just going to do my thing, and I just want to enjoy myself. I want to know what's out there. I want to know what's going on. But I do not rank myself how good or bad a man I am as far as masculinity or intelligence or desirability based on how many women want to sleep with me.
Okay.
They just find other things in their lives.
And a lot of easily attachable, like, okay, because they got this new thing with black pill, and then they got these insects.
Oh, Jesus
and then everybody just falls into the vague umbrella of MGTOW, and you guys actually represent what it should be, right?
I agree.
But then if you stand next to one of these people, it makes the brand look bad.
Yeah.
There is no brand. It's not a brand. It is a movement. It is a philosophy.
It makes the movement look bad.
Nice. It's a philosophy.
Because it doesn't have requirements that makes these guys level up to the challenge. It doesn't challenge them on anything.
Listen, Coach Greg Adams is a personal trainer, man. If anybody knows about leveling up and challenging.
Coach Chris Greg, what I'm saying is you're doing it the right way, but there are people who they're you.
Right. I get what you're saying. Look,
in the wrong fashion because they are socially awkward and they are attaching themselves.
Let me equate it like this. Look, I'm a lifelong Raiders fan, no matter where they've been. LA.
Oh, that's some pain right there, brother.
I'm a lifelong Raiders fan. Now check this out. The reputations of Raiders fans is very low. All right. They beat people up. They got tattoos, essays, they be stabbing people in the parking lot, X, Y, and Z. Now, I'm a Raiders fan. I don't stab people in the parking lot. I don't, jag people. I'm not a criminal. I'm not a rapper, gangbanger. You know what I mean? So, yeah, it's sad that Raiders fans are painted in that picture, but it ain't going to stop me from liking the team.
Okay.
So, same with the MGTOW guys. Hey, look, there's some guys that I post a video or I post something on Instagram and they talk about repeal the 19th. And I'm kind of like, well, that's kind of extreme, right? But I still am not going to say, well, I'm going to disassociate with you. But I understand that they're there. Just like the Raider fans that's going to beat people up in the parking lot. I understand that they're there. I'm still going to go to the game.
That's why I said it's a phase. Like, it is.
It could be a phase for some.
I went through MGTOW and I was just like, getting my shit in order. You know what I'm saying? And it, falling back, handling your business,
it's great.
Hands up, getting your money up, you're getting in shape, handling everything, getting everything in order, so we can get out here and actually play with bitches. Yeah.
Now,
I got a question. I got a question for MGTOW.
After Hotep, go ahead.
How you get your nut off?
That's what I was about to say.
Okay, so see, you're assuming. See, again, it's what the key term, the key word in MGTOW to me is own. Go your own way. So yes, you're gonna hear people come to your channel and say all MGTOW guys do this.
I'm not talking about the whole thing. I'm talking about the guy that says he's gonna go in the woods. What is he whacking off to? The deer in the woods?
Knows?
Another man?
Who cares? Like, who cares? Look, why am I?
I'm trying to understand. I'm trying to understand.
Why would I police his nut?
No. Coach Greg, hold on. CJ, hold on. Yeah. When Jap speaks, when Lucario speaks, they're speaking to this type of dude under the MGTOW umbrella, and you and Joker seem to play defense for that character, that avatar. So since you guys are playing defense, I'm trying to understand, how is they getting a nut if they don't like women?
Well, remember we told you. Hold on. Remember I told you, if you say MGTOW, you're taking the dating advice out of it. You're taking that portion out of it, and you're instructing on areas of life, on everything but that. Now, a guy might eventually say, hey, I'm done with this. Or like Jap says, I evolved from this. I got my money right. I stepped out. Now, what do? And I don't criticize that guy. I don't say, nope, you got to stay in it forever. You don't. You can elevate out of that, and then eventually try to apply game, because the truth about game, guys that sell game, is they have some sort of criteria about them that gets them a ticket to make it easier to pitch game. And a lot of game guys forget about that. It's similar to women who only look at the 5% of men and then judge on that 5% of men. Game guys, they might be taller, they might be handsome.
Hey, but listen, you're right. You're right.
They might have something that gets them a ticket to pitch the game.
Listen, you're right.
Some guy doesn't have any of that.
CJ, you're right. Listen, CJ, you're right. Hold on, CJ, you're right. But there are successful Asian pickup artists out there, man.
But that's a whole different person. See, again, it's a different person.
I understand what you're saying, but life isn't fair, man. And I think men and women alike need to understand that. Hey, listen. Okay, so a guy who's 6'3" is going to get a lot more opportunities than a guy who is 5'3". But that's how it is, man. I'm 6'2", 200 and probably 45 pounds. But one of my sexual market deficiencies is the fact that I'm African American. I'm not going to get as many looks as white guys who have the same stats. That's just how it is.
So a guy goes, well, I'm going to remove myself until I have that ticket.
So my thing is,
I guess it depends on what he wants to do.
For the guys who are MGTOW, but also like Joker was saying, that still like, hook up with girls and all that other stuff. Are there ways for those guys to, like, what do they do to learn that? Or if
a lot of them already know it.
What do they do to teach it? That's what I'm saying. Like,
we don't teach it. We already know it. And the guys that were.
Well, hold on. Let him, Lucario, you got to let him finish. Go ahead.
Well, here's what I'm saying. If a guy comes to me, the MGTOW umbrella, right? Incel, guys that have silicone girlfriend dolls. Some guys out there that are into that. Some guys just watch a little bit of adult film, the Jergens lotion. We've all done it. There's guys that short-term date. There's guys that do hookup on apps. There's guys that even date longer-term, monogamous, just with one girl. They can all be MGTOW. All really, they're saying when I'm going my own way is I'm not getting married. You're not living with me. It's my way or the highway. Period.
That sounds red pill to me, man. I think we're all the same.
Do that. How would he learn it though? Like if he wanted to learn it, like let's say that's what I'm asking.
So when I'm asked, and I did a video on this maybe 8 or 9 months ago, when they come to me and go, hey man, what's good? How do I do X? I already know X, but that's not my shtick. That's not what I talk about. So I say, go to YouTube and type in X, Y, Z, these channels, this channel's Donovan,
There you go. Listen, Lucario, that's the answer to your question. If Jap, and I don't think MGTOW is a face, but if a guy decides to go into monk, I don't think MGTOW is a face. I think it's a way of life, and I think it's a mindset. But if a guy decides to go into monk mode in his mid-20s, get everything right, his body, his finances, okay, I understand. Like the MGTOW guys taught me, hey, this is how to avoid certain disaster. I've made something of myself. I really want to be able to be successful with women without getting taken to the cleaners. How do I learn this? You don't go to MGTOW channels for that. You come to the red pill.
MGTOW is no marriage, no woman living with me.
Right. Because in both cases, if you get married, you know how the laws are right now.
Sure.
If you live with somebody, I think more than 2 years. In some places in Canada, I think it's 6 months.
That's right.
And the only reason we try to usually stay away from long-term relationships is because most women in long-term relationships expect to live with you and marry you at some point. So now there are guys like myself I don't go out looking. I've dated. I played the game. I know the game. I know it pretty well. Mostly because of my age. I think I'm the oldest here out of everybody. We didn't have cell phones. You had to talk to a girl face to face. You
Real
get
talk.
really good at game. So there's a point in time where you say, I can do this. It's just not important to me right now. I got other things to deal with in my life. But if I wanted to go out, I'll go out and meet somebody. I get on a dating app. I'll play game. So a lot of men that are in guys going their own way, they know this stuff. And when they have a need, they go out too. They might have been former red pill guys.
There you go.
All they're saying is, I don't want to put effort. You guys, now maybe you don't put effort in.
Sure.
You guys may have some game, you got some skill, but you got to put yourself out there.
Right.
A lot
And
of guys say,
it depends upon what's important to you, right? Like at
Right.
some point, like I'm 43 years old. Like vagina is far less important to me when I was 33. So I don't put in
Right.
as much effort. I probably put in a little more effort than I would imagine most men. But again, I'm not going to begrudge a man who's, especially guys who say, well, the juice isn't worth the squeeze. Well, he's had the juice and he understands, because that's why I got out of the game. At some point, I got I got tired of the grind of going out and having to talk to 10, 20, 30 girls just to get a chance to maybe sleep with one of them and avoid an EPAR accusation, right? At some point, the risk outweighed the reward. The juice was no longer worth the squeeze, and so my life is the way it is now. I think it depends on where you're
point
at.
after you, Donovan.
Oh, go ahead, Myron.
So I was listening intently to what everybody was saying, and everybody made fantastic points. I'm just gonna say this, man. Honestly, real talk. Everybody on this panel is MGTOW to some degree.
I agree.
And what I mean by that, if you're gonna look at the word, right? Men going keyword their own way, keywords their own. One of the fundamental principles of the RP in general is never letting women lead.
Right.
Being the master of your own movie. You know what I'm saying? Be the director of your own movie, not letting society, government, or worse yet, women lead you. Because I always tell you guys, if you let a woman lead, she's going to lead you all right to the end of the relationship and to the end of your sanity. So the thing is this, man. I think whether you decide to, just like we talked about earlier, with serial killers, your mom, your girlfriend, and chefs, they all use the same tool, a knife. One's trying to make you great delicacies. Another one is trying to get put on America's Most Wanted. But they're all using the same tool with a knife. You know what I'm saying? And how you decide to use that knife is up to you. But it's a response to a certain to a different marketplace, right? We all have this fundamental knowledge of female nature and how women really mate select that society doesn't want you to know. That's politically incorrect, that they're going to suppress your speech if you talk about this stuff. So everyone understands that to some degree. Whether you decide you want to date, whether you decide you want to leave the marketplace altogether, or you decide you just don't want to marry, but you'll date a girl casually here or there, or you want to teach pickup or whatever it is. Everyone has a rudimentary understanding of female nature in this sect of the sphere. So I would say everyone to some level is a MGTOW. Now,
But Myron,
you define yourself as a MGTOW? No, you might just say, hey, I'm a dude that understands women or whatever. And that's fine. Whatever you want to label yourself is. But if we're going to go and look at the word itself, MGTOW, men going keyword their own way. Whether you decide to be married or not, you're still leading the relationship. I could consider that being a form of a MGTOW possibly, because you're leading
not all
their
MGTOWs
own
are the
way.
same. Not all red pill guys are the same.
But Myron,
Sure.
what you saying, like when you break down men going, yeah, you know, Mandalorian, hell yeah, this is the way.
Right.
But I just asked Joker if it means you don't want to be married and you don't want to live with a woman. That's MGTOW. That's the defining difference between MGTOW and everything else, right?
I don't think so.
Let me
that
clarify-
right
let me
there.
clarify. Wait, let me clarify that real quick, okay? That is my advice. And a lot of guys that are going their own way avoid the law because the law is very unfair to men. But it's, again, the big thing, and like he was saying, it's not I misspoke earlier. It's not a movement. It's not a banner. There's not 18 rules to MGTOW. It's a philosophy. And that philosophy is kind of like stoicism. It's kind of like anything else, which is I am the center of my own universe. The world is mine to have. It is going to be under my control. And if I get into a situation where I'm not in control anymore, and the law may get me, a woman may get me, society may get me, something may get me, I'm getting out of my realm. And I want to keep that kind of close at hand. And so a lot of guys that do kind of fall into this philosophy are just saying, I like everything to be in my control. And a woman and her decisions are not always in my control. It's not hate on a woman. Some of them do hate women,
Sure,
but they mostly hate them because they've been hurt by them, or they don't understand them, or they can't get them, or something along those lines. It really just boils down to, I like being in control of my life 100%. And a woman is a piece of chaos that no matter how strong you are and how smart you are, they can yeet out on you at any point or hurt
Absolutely.
you or file criminal charges or make some bullshit up against you or anything else. And some men just do not want the chaos.
I
And they
agree.
say, "You want something?
And
I'm
I-
putting it on."
I really like
One of the things I find.
with what he calls it, the free agent, the free agent
Free agent
lifestyle.
lifestyle, yeah.
That I get that. Now, the only thing that the point I was making was the default MGTOW, and that's
There
the
is
guy.
no default.
There is no default. I just think that the reason why these guys,
the guy who's socially awkward, the guy who's going to fall under this. He's going to fall.
He got
under,
no choice but to be MGTOW.
well, then that's no, that's incorrect because hang on. I got to take control.
One of the things I would say is that guy, he might be the most vocal one because of whatever he's went through, but he doesn't represent everybody. I think what happens is, I think Lucario's point was like, well, how come you guys don't fill in this void? How come you don't tell them about this? How come you don't tell them about
that's
that?
where we come in.
Well, what we're focused on telling them about is child support. So same thing is, you don't talk to guys about child support or getting a sexual harassment charge. Well, we're going to cover that.
Mm-hmm.
I think we tend to cover
I don't think that
those
was the
issues because we
totality.
get through
I don't
them.
think that was the totality of what Jap was trying to say, though.
No. What I'm saying though is, you two guys picked MGTOW.
No.
You selected it.
Nope.
You said, you know what? After evaluating what I have been through, this is how I'm going to move. Certain people are so awkward and so out of touch with
I don't know. I
reality
think it's
that
I
they're
think
not
it's
gonna be
really
able to
listen. Hold on. I got to stop you
and-
right there. Jap, I got to stop you right there, man. I think it's really dangerous when you start characterizing people as being socially awkward. There are socially awkward red pillars. There are socially awkward guys who are MGTOW. Now, I think what Jap is trying to say is that some guys say I'm MGTOW. In other words, I want women, but I can't have them, so I'm going to pretend not to want them because I know I can't have them.
Sure.
I think that's what he's getting at.
Better put.
Let me share this with you. I did a poll on my channel.
Okay.
It was 1 month ago, and I got 60,000 votes on this poll. And I posted now I am not a MGTOW channel. There's no tag on my YouTube channel that says MGTOW.
Right.
It says men's health, men's fitness, men's divorce, men's single, men. I have nothing that says MGTOW on it. Okay. So when they come gravitate to me, they're not doing it by buzzword MGTOW.
Okay.
All right. So let me just put that out there first. Number two, a lot of people say I resonate with MGTOW. I've never said I am MGTOW. I am right now in my life because I'm working on other things. And I guess I've become a speaker for the community.
Sure.
And there's nothing wrong with it. But I've never said, like, I'm going my own way. I'm never doing this. I'm not this. I'm not, because it doesn't matter. So this poll I put on my channel, the main reason I'm single is I got 60,000 votes.
Oh, I remember this one. Yeah.
And number one, I like doing my own thing whenever I want. 33%. Doesn't sound like a butthurt man to me. It doesn't sound like an incel to me. Number two, no success in dating, or I've given up on finding someone. 20%. That might be your gentlemen that say, I'm not having any luck. I'm just giving up on it.
Okay.
So you are right. Those people do exist. 20%. 16%. I find very few people attractive nowadays, either physically or mentally. And let's face it,
That sounds like
65% of
experience.
women are overweight today. A lot of them have other issues. A lot of them are single mamas. There's a lot that men are just like, you know what? Like, it's finding a needle in a needle stack. I'm just not interested. The last one, I've been hurt or burned too many times and lost trust. 10%. Now, those men, if they get burnt or hurt enough, well, they were dating. Now, maybe they weren't making the best selections, but they were dating and they were out there. So, and then actually 21% of them say, I'm not single. I just like watching your channel. But 20%, 20% of med said, I've given up or I'm unsuccessful. That leaves 80% out there that say, I like doing my own thing.
Okay.
I just don't find a lot of women attractive because I'm not into the big girls or the mentally crazy ones or the feminists or the blue hairs or all this other stuff. Or maybe they live in a rural town and everybody they know is related to somebody else. And, and I've been hurt or burned too many times and lost trust, 10%.
Right.
And those guys are probably the ones that recently got divorced, had a woman cheat on them, were in love and got hurt. So really, what you're saying is MGTOW is really only maybe 20% of men. And those men, I've said many times, like there are channels out there that'll teach you how to date. And I've said in channels, hey, don't make not dating my advice to you, make not dating your choice.
Okay.
And the way you do that is by trying to get out there and date, get some game. Don't be socially awkward, because if you're 22 and no woman looks at you and you got no game and you haven't been to the gym and you have no money, that may change by the time you're 30 and you've been to the gym and you got a good job and you got money. And now you do want to go out there and talk to girls. Go out there and learn this information. So I'm not saying there's nothing in the red pill community I've ever said is BS. I've got no harshness for anybody because I'm part of that community.
Of course.
But I think where the fireback comes from a little bit is that when MGTOW guys that are maybe unhappy or recently divorced go on to red pill dating content and say, dude,
Yeah, they
don't
lash
do
out.
it. You know, don't get married. She's going to screw you. Don't do this. Don't do this. And they start giving advice. And then the red pill guys coming back over and saying, yeah, but you guys can't get laid. You're a bunch of incels and you're coping and you just hate. And that's the clash. The rest of the 80% of everybody is, do you, man? Like, you just do you. Who cares?
Listen,
And I think it's
that
those
defines
very
it.
minor, loud, vocal minorities that maybe button heads a little bit. And that's where you start getting some flare up.
100%. I think the number's even less than that. I think it's probably 15% of red pillars and MGTOWs. Those guys are the loudest. Those guys are these are the guys, well, the loudest. These are the guys who have the most time to go onto channels, cross channels, hashtag red pill, hashtag MGTOW. I think that the vast majority of men who either identify as MGTOW or red pill, I think we all get along, content creators and content consumers alike. And it's
I got
almost
a quick point
like
after you, Donovan.
Okay, it's almost like social media. Social media, like the world is now run by social media. Like careers are won and lost on social media. That is a fraction of a fraction of a fraction of the population. Yet we're allowing social media to make important decisions for us. Well, listen, man. I guess I can admit that. Hey, you know what? I guess I should really just be looking around me and not really looking in the comments section, because the comments section is where most of the attacks happen. Go ahead, Myron.
I have. Go ahead, Myron. I found the problem with all of this. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Okay,
Myron.
let's do it.
So, what I wanted to say was, again, I was taking some notes, man, and very interesting. So I'm gonna just go around the panel here and guys, Donovan, he teaches you how to build a woman from the ground up, right? Hotep teaches you, the unbreakable rules of masculinity. Coach teaches you free agent lifestyle, right? Which for people that are international viewers, being a free agent on a sports team means no team owns you. You make your own decisions.
Right.
Lucario tells guys, I'm God to these hoes. You got to lead the interactions. You got to make things happen.
Real talk.
Right? Jack says, women are for recreational use only. Don't let German shepherds dictate your life, right? And then Joker says, pursue your happiness. Do what makes you happy. You know what I'm saying? But what's the underlying thing in all these messages? And then myself, what do we tell guys? Hey, become high value. Why do you become high value? So you don't tolerate the bullshit that inevitably comes with women.
I have the answer for that,
Go
Myron.
and do your own thing, right?
The common denominator is we are all making ourselves our own mental point of origin.
Exactly. So
Right.
everyone, regardless of everyone's message, even though it's a little bit different, the underlying thing is that we're all telling men, you need to be the director of your own movie. Whether you decide you want to date women, whether you decide you want to do your own hobbies and do your own thing, or you want to just live the free agent lifestyle, we all have the underlying message where you need to be the leader. Women can't lead you. And if you let women lead you, they're going to fuck up your life, which I agree with everyone in here of that message, because at the end of the day, we know what happens when you put women in leadership positions, especially in a relationship. So I'll say this. Since we all pretty much have the same end goal, which is you leading your life, how you get there is up to you. You know what I'm saying? Whether you want to do it with a woman by your side or not, it's fine. But the point is that you can't let women lead. And I think that's the most important takeaway from all thought process here, which is a fantastic discussion. But I think we all agree that we understand the dangers that come from dealing with women. We understand that they're not capable of leading you in a relationship. And we all have different responses to the problem, right?
Yeah.
But it's all the same thing. You are the leader of your life.
Okay, very good.
Well,
Hotep.
I found the problem, right?
Okay.
And I'm going to pick on the audience on this one. And when I say that, I want to first pick out one of my favorite podcasts. Some of you may have heard of Fresh and Fit before.
Yep. Yeah, maybe.
Now, when we look at these videos, right? Awesome channel, by the way. Super fast growing. When we see thumbnails of just the men, we have a certain expectation on what type of views that'll do. But when the thumbnails are women, and even when they're live, there's more viewership. Now, Donovan, you noticed, I remember one time me and you, we were talking about finance, and you said usually, you know, we're used to having, you know, thousands of people in here or whatever. Right. We talk about finance and it's like a quarter of the normal following, right?
Right.
So here's the problem. Without hoes, would we be here? there would be no audience.
Right.
But the common thread is people here are saying we don't need the women, but without the women, there would be no audience. Because if you just focused on going your own way and focused on, hey, I'm just going to talk about fitness, I'm just going to talk about health, I'm just going to talk about money, you wouldn't have the audience you had. You would have more audience when you talk about women, and women make the world go round, and they make your YouTube channel pop too. So I don't understand how people want to go their own way and exclude women, except the fact that that's how you get your audience.
I don't think it's the fact. I don't think it's how they get their audience. And men, and again, I agree with Joker. I think 80% of men, if given the opportunity, would pursue women if the situation were right, red pill, MGTOW, or otherwise. And listen, if nothing else, what this podcast,
you want me to do your channel? You want me to do your channel next, Donovan? I'll do your channel next and break down the views. Let me do it right now.
Well, hold on. Let me finish my point. What I've learned is that MGTOW and red pill, I think we're the same. I think we're the same in just about every way. I mean, so listen, sometimes we choose to pursue women, sometimes we don't. Sometimes we choose to just kind of check out of the dating market for a little while. Sometimes we don't. I think MGTOWs get a bad reputation. I agree, because it's that loud 20% that's doing all the chatting. They're doing all of the quote unquote trolling. They just came out of a bad relationship, or they took bad game advice from one of those pickup artists, got played, got taken to the cleaners, whatever, and now they're really mad at the red pill community, and it's hashtag MGTOW for life. I think there are a lot of guys who are in the MGTOW community under the MGTOW banner that misuse the moniker, and I think that in large part is the reason why they have such a lot of them have a bad reputation.
Yeah, one key point on what Hotep's saying, I think when you say men going their own way, it seems to imply without women, but that's not true.
Right.
What they're saying is you're leading your own type of way outside of the dynamics of the traditional model of relationship. You're not saying we're excluding ourselves from women, so we don't need to talk about it. That's not true. You're going your own way in the model of, I'm not going to choose marriage, I'm not going to choose this, but I might engage with them this way. So how can I work around it?
And can I do a screen share?
So
I don't have the software for that yet. Sorry about that.
Well, let me just show you. Let me show you something.
All right.
When men go their own way, one of the things they need to focus on is finance. And then here on Donovan's channel, we have the financial consequences of not understanding woman needs, right?
Right.
Only 4.8K. Yeah. I would argue that's probably one of the most important videos to watch.
I can explain all that.
But then we got another one here. It's got 40K on, it's got a nice hot woman as a thumbnail. And you got another one up here.
I can explain that for you.
I talk though?
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, it's all good. And then when we look at this other one, 41-year-old older woman verifies, again, 41K views.
Yeah.
Then you get to some of the more important topics, like Donovan here, is he talking about the show The Bachelor? It's like, nobody, the men don't care because it's got to do with men. I just don't understand how you guys are saying one thing, but the numbers and your audience are doing another.
And I can explain that to some degree.
All right, go ahead.
Part of it is, if you are into fitness and you're working out a lot, you can watch a video on how to do biceps, triceps, lats, delts, quads. Okay, seen it all. I've got it memorized. Then here's a new video about bulking, cutting, this. There's a ton, and a lot of times you watch different creators because this creator may do it different than this one. Well, why are you talking about it? Why are you watching videos about it? Go hit the gym. You don't need to be watching videos. You got it. The same thing happens when men get hurt, or when men are not having success in dating, or when men maybe do want to date, but they're not having any success. It's very easy to feel alone. It's very easy. You know, a lot of us have good groups of friends, but a lot of times men don't have good social circles, and some men are awkward and aren't able to. It helps when you're telling a story about how another guy got rammed through the system or got hurt or got burned. It helps when you're doing a video about a guy, an article you're reading about a guy, or new laws that are against, because what it does is it gives you a sense of community. You say, you know what? I'm not alone in this. Look at all
I only have one more argument after you're done.
No worries. You know, some of my more popular videos have 20,000 of me too, man, and you're not alone, and I got you, and this happened to me. It gives other people the sense that I'm not alone. Other people are going through this. It's not necessarily me that's broken. It may be her. And a lot of guys say, I did screw up. I didn't hold my frame. I didn't stay strong. I fell into a blue pill, or I did whatever. But it's a forum. And a lot of times these videos turn out to be just here's a topic, here's a video on it, discuss. And the more salacious and sometimes the more punishing the stories, or the more interesting, it's like moths to a flame. And
yes,
it just is what it is. And I wish it weren't that way. I wish I could put out a finance video and I get tons of views, but there's smarter people than finance on me. And there's smarter people about gym workouts than me, but there's not smarter people that can tell you, well, there are smarter people. But I mean, what we try to do is say, here's a bad story. Here's a law that may have something to do with that or that's coming out. Here's what you can do to protect yourself. And here's a way around it. And we try to bundle that all into a little salacious. And sometimes you got to put some sugar out there for people to take the medicine.
Before Hotep goes, I'll admit, man, I mean, and I'm an animated guy, but sometimes, listen, at the end of the day, we're trying to help men, but we're also trying to grow our audiences so that we can help men. So yeah, I might be a little bit more theatrical in my delivery than other times. And listen, we all the time say, all women are like that. Are 100% of women like that? Of course not. We all know that they're not. But in order to really drive the point home, we use hyperbole so that we can really drive the point home. Because if we say, well, most women are like that, people aren't really gonna pay attention because it's
so
not
you're
as
saying there's a
provocative as
chance.
Right. Yeah, right. So you're saying there's a chance.
I want to go to Hotep. But go ahead. You go ahead, Hotep.
So you know, in the beginning when we talked about divorce, I brought up Jeff Bezos, and everybody's like, "Oh, but not everybody can be Jeff Bezos." Well, the one thing I understand that about the court of law is it's usually who has the most money is the one who's going to win the case. They can get a better lawyer and they can beat the case. Or if you do get divorce rate, it doesn't hurt your pockets because you're doing so well financially, right? So it would be in your best interest that if you want to go your own way, you need to check your wallet, right? So I'm asking myself, if you want to go your own way, why isn't the audience, again, I'm blaming the audience, why isn't the audience gluing into the content that is going to be most beneficial for them? And why are they acting like women, tuning into the salacious content?
Yeah, that's on the audience. You have to ask them
That's
that.
I want to say something real quick.
My bad, sorry.
I just want to say something real quick. I think one of the key issues, I think, where the friction comes in with, like, you know, what they call red pill or MGTOW, whatever it is. I think on both ends, I think a lot of people aren't being honest. And so the dishonesty causes the friction. So for example, let's say if you have a person who considers themselves MGTOW, instead of like what Joko was saying, hey, I just been hurt and this is why I'm not dealing with women right now. Instead of just saying that, they'll say, you know what, I'm MGTOW because fuck these women and what you red pill guys are saying. Y'all are stupid or whatever. You understand? So he's going to say that instead of, hey, I'm just hurt. And then the red pill quote unquote pickup artist guy is going to say, hey man, you guys just don't got no game. And I have these 3 secrets. If you say these 3 magical words, the girls will get with you. You see what I'm saying? Like everybody's bullshitting each other. You see what I'm saying? And so instead of being honest with the pickup artist should say, listen, this is going to take a lot of work on your end to really build yourself up to be that attractive guy to get girls. They try to give them the lie. And I think on the MGTOW side, a guy might even say, hey, I'm not interested in women, even though he is, but he's just saying that as like just a way to like cope with the situation. So I think if everybody was more honest with what they were about, I think there would be less friction. I think the friction comes in where everybody thinks they're attacking the other side of what they're trying to do or what they're about at the moment. You know what I'm saying?
If I could scratch my back here on the air, this is exactly why I have the following that I have. Dude, there are guys on this panel who have double the subscribers. I talk about my W's and I talk about my L's, man. I have never ever been the guy who who said that I go 100% red pill. Dude, I've talked about some of my greatest heartbreaks, man. I've talked about some of my greatest victories, some of my worst defeats. And I agree with Lucario. You gotta be honest. This is why Coach Greg Adams and Joker have the channels they have, because you guys are honest. Dude, Greg has told us all about his divorce. That shit was ugly, man. I mean, and we have too many guys on either side. We have too many we have too many guys who identify as MGTOW who talk like they have all this experience and they've just decided, well, I don't want to do it anymore, when in actuality, they were never really good with women in the first place, and that's okay. Then we got red pill guys talking about, well, I do this and I do. Listen, I'm a red pill guy. I'm in a long-term cohabitating relationship with a woman who is well past the wall. Guess what? That doesn't seem to skew anyone's opinion of me one way or the other. And if it does, go fuck yourself. Go watch somebody else's channel. I agree with Lucario. You got to be 100% audience. You have to be 100% honest. And if you want people to believe what you are saying, you have to be honest about your successes and your failures. You can't be Mr. I'm undefeated and I've fucked 300 women and I've never. There are some guys out here talking about they fucked 1,300 women in 1 year. The fuck is that? Who the hell has time for that, man? So I agree. I think it's 100% honesty.
Well,
maybe part of this.
I think it's more like a situation.
We'll go Jap, Joker, CGA.
Yeah.
Or I'm sorry, Jap, CGA, Joker, and then we got to end it.
What we're doing is like gang banging with these titles. Seriously,
I agree. We're out here like MGTOW for life. Nah, fam, is red pill.
Like there's gonna be rebuttals like, whoa, it's gonna be MGTOW. It's gonna be somebody gonna do a breakdown. MGTOW versus red pill.
Yo.
Who won? Like, first of all, let's slow down. We're grown ass men. You know, you can like the Lakers, you know what I'm saying? I can like the Bulls. We can argue about this and figure it out who's the greater team.
We both like basketball though.
That's right.
Yeah. But at the end of the day, I'm glad we're having this conversation because I'm getting an understanding. And just to sum up what's going on, these categories, these pills, everything everything that's coming out in these different communities, everybody's clashing. But like what we're doing right now, we're breaking the barriers.
Yes.
And I think that the most important message is the world is yours, man, you.
Right.
Man.
Screw how you word it, MGTOW. It is your world, your universe.
Okay.
It's yours.
CGA.
That's how, and I think that's what we all can agree on.
I agree. CGA, go ahead, Ben.
One common thing that happens is even within any of your philosophies, there are going to be people that come to your channel and say, well, you're not even a part of that. There's people that come to my channel and there's like, well, you're not really MGTOW because X, Y, and Z, or you were sent your own way. You're only MGTOW because you got like, even within the system and the structure, even within red pill, they're like, oh, you're not really red pill, you're black pill. Like what happens is, like Jap saying, we present the arguments or we present the topic, and there's people behind it that are latching onto this because that's all they have, maybe. And they're out here gang banging, and we're out here just talking. And we're the OGs. We're not out here doing dirt, but there's other people out there doing dirt on our name. And we're like, don't talk my name on this.
Real talk, man.
The reality is, even within my structure, if I say I'm something, there's going to be a guy that says I'm not really that. They call me a black pill channel. Oh, he's just really black pill.
Are you serious?
Like, who gets to say what the hell I am? Look, let these people do whatever they do behind the scenes. I think for the content creators, we have to understand, I'm not big enough. I'm not in my philosophy so much that I can't talk to Lucario.
Right.
Like, people told me not to go on Fresh and Fit. Never go on Fresh and Fit. Right. Myron is a man. Myron is a man. I'm a man. We pretty much agree almost 99% statistically on everything. Why can't I go over there? Well, you're this and that. I don't believe in that. I come across the lines.
I got a quick point after CGA, if that's cool.
Well, we're gonna go Joker, then Myron, and then we'll wrap it up. Go ahead.
I'll just say this. I never branded myself as anything. I put men's health, men's fitness, bunch of men's stuff, and then people find me. If someone would say to me, "Hey, you red pill? Yeah. Are you MGTOW? Yeah. Pickup artist? Yeah, I know a little bit about that stuff. I don't teach it, but I know it. I learned it. I watched some videos. I read some books. Right. Are you this? Are you this? Are you this? Well, at the end of it, we're all parts of it. We're all portions of it. It's just what part do we talk about the most, or what do we represent the most, or what's most important in our lives right now. Really, I think we've all got portions or bits of it, like you were saying, what one of you gentlemen said earlier. We've all got bits of it. We're all parts of this. It's just what do we decide to talk about on our channels, and what is the message we bring forward to men. But the truth is, if someone came to me and said, hey, man, got anybody you can recommend that would coach or be, yeah,
There you go.
here's a list of channels. And the end of it is too, as I read a statistic about Twitter that was something like, out of all Americans, out of 350 million Americans, like 10% are on Twitter, and 10% of those are the ones that scream the loudest.
Yes.
And if you look at a channel my size, if it's 300,000 people and there's 30,000 people that are real kind of hardcore about it, and 3,000 of those decide to, speak the loudest about it, that's 1%. They could cause a lot of damage and piss off a lot of people, 3,000 people on a channel of 300 grand. We just need to remember, at the end of the day, none of us get out of life alive. You just do what works best for you. Take your own advice, make yourself happy. Whether you want women, then go for it. If you don't. But keep it to yourself. I mean, if you're going to share your lessons, share your lessons.
Right, but you don't have to label it, man.
There's never been a point that I've ever said any other content creator ever is wrong, stupid, BS, teaching, don't listen,
man.
you do you. And if you all just got by with, look, this is what works for me, the rest of you do you. You, if it makes you happy, like, just be careful, man, and do your thing, we'd all be fine. There is no beef. It's just some people say, well, we're right and you're wrong, or vice versa. No one's right. No one's wrong.
It is what it is, right?
Individual life, and you're going to F it up at some point anyway. So do the best with it you can. Do what works for you, and call it a damn day.
Did Joker just swear twice on the air? I can't believe
I did not.
I've heard Joker swear a total of 5 times. 4 of those.
He won't do that on his own channel. He's smart.
Right? Oh, no. He's squeaky clean over there. Myron, I'll give you the last word, man.
Yeah, no, I mean, and that's why collaborations like this are fantastic, guys, because even though we have different, points of thought, at the end of the day, the underlying unifying thing is this. We want to help men become better and navigate a world that, quite frankly, isn't in our best interest a lot of the times if you take conventional routes, right? So, whether it's, you say you're a MGTOW or you're RP or you're PUA or you're, TradCon, whatever, everybody has the same end goal, I would hope, if you're in this type of community where you want to help guys out. So that's what it's about, man. I think discussions like this are very important. But at the end of the day, guys, it's sad that we don't work together more, because we already have enough of these SJWs and politically correct and the radical left coming after us and radical feminism. It's like, more guys, we need to have more spaces like this where men can sit here and have honest discussions and bring things to light. And, I learned a lot just listening in. I really talked on this podcast because I was just sitting back taking notes and listening. And I think that's very important. More guys need to do that. And we already have enough detractors, guys, out there, in the mainstream. Last thing we need to do is tear each other down and attack each other. Because here's the thing. There's things, just like what CJ was saying, like, people are like, oh, Myron, you're going to collab with CJ? He doesn't tell guys to get girls, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, bro, it's past that. We're about helping guys get better, regardless of, what my personal thought process is or whatever. It's great to collab with other guys. And as a matter of fact, it's even better to collab with guys that might have a different view than you, because last thing you want is an echo chamber, man. That is not good. It doesn't promote growth. It promotes stagnation. And that's how your channel dies and your message doesn't get out there, when you keep saying the same BS all the time. And if you aren't amenable to learning new things, how are you going to grow? So I think these types of discussions are important. We need to work together. It's sad that the manosphere isn't unified and we're not all working together like we did a couple of years ago. But, Donovan hopefully is going to change that with this event. And yeah, man, guys, this is what it's about, because we already get attacked enough. So we need to unify here.
I agree. I think the comment of the evening was from Jap. And I think he summed it up. It was so succinct. Too many of us, myself included, we're out here gangbanging. We're out here throwing gang signs and wearing different color, I don't even know what they're called, different color bandanas and this and that and the other. And if I'm wearing this color and you're wearing that color, or if I say I'm this and you say you're that, then we're natural enemies. I think what needs to happen is we need to go to, this men's community needs to go completely labelless. Okay, it doesn't need to be red pill. It doesn't need to be MGTOW. It doesn't need to be any of that stuff. I don't know. And see, here's the thing. We really have to stay away from naming. We can't. Well, let's come up with a new name. You want to know what? That new name is then going to be, there are going to be factions in that new name, and so on and so forth. I think there needs to be an unspoken gentleman's agreement, just like Myron said, that at the end of the day, no matter how we approach it, offensively, defensively, risk averse, risk tolerant, whatever the case may be, we know that men are the leaders. We are our own mental point of origin. Men come first. We should be the leaders, and that we're pro-masculinity. I am going to attempt to read the many super chats as quickly as I can in 5 minutes or less. The first one comes from Danny Chan, all the way out from Abu Dhabi, with the $350 Cash App. He says, shout out to the 7. That is $50 for each and every one of you guys. Shout out to the 6. Okay, here we go, guys. Bear with me. Let's try to get through this. Amazed, $5. Says, well, express Joker. Red pill is umbrella philosophy about females' nature. Everything else is a branch. Red pill is indisputable truth. Shout out to Cuban Libertarian, $5. Every organism tries to reproduce, but MGTOW are so enlightened that they don't want to. Hashtag really shine. Geeky Anomaly, talked to him earlier, says MGTOW is not new. It's just the name now. It just has a name now. Case in point, Grizzly Adams, 1800s. Wow, couldn't add the W. YouTube blocked it. Joe Troll, $5, says, should have brought TFM on as well. Yeah, see, guys like that want to see, I assume, they want to see the red meat. The reason why guys like that want TFM to come on is because they think there's going to be some sort of dispute or some sort of debate and that TFM is going to own us. No, TFM is not our enemy, and we are not TFM's enemy. TFM is one of us. He's a man who believes in good masculine principles. I got no problem with him, and I don't think he has a problem with us, and the audience needs to jump on board with that too. Red Sings the Blues, $5. Appreciate that. The Antis Man, $5 says, I wonder if and when feminists will try to pass legislation to force men into relationships and marriage when they don't get what they want. Joe Thornton, $10 says, this channel and others similar to it has helped me understand my own history with women. Would have been nice if there was some equivalent to this channel in the 1980s. Samishi, $5 says, showing my support for the panel. Been watching Joker for about a year now. Thanks to everyone for getting this stuff out there. RDAB, $20 says, I really think that the universe has dramatically changed. There was a time when men having several women at a time were admirable. Now when a man talks about simultaneously dealing with several women, you feel a bit sorry for him. King Life, $20 says, showing love to the place that has taught me so much. Keep it up and don't let a trick, no pony, feminine behavior, something guys down. I'm not reading super chats. It's going to be $10 and up, guys. $10 and up. So the $2 jump offs, I'm sorry. I got to go past him. Jehoram Israel, $10. Appreciate that. Clarence W. with the $50 Canadian super chat. I'm only 5'7", but I'm a Chad Light. I'm good looking. Run my own crypto farm and make $120K a year. I asked a woman out yesterday, took an L. Thanks for everything, Joker. I give 0 F these days. She don't want me. Meh. I'll find someone else. And I totally just lost my spot. I know I'm going to miss some of these. You guys are going to have to forgive me. The red pill is MGTOW. The only difference is no cohabitation, no marriage. What men are really walking away from is family court. Red pill is knowledge. MGTOW is the remedy to this gynocentric world. Appreciate that. Phil Moore, my guy, as a MGTOW guy, that's interesting, says, I'm not looking for autonomy in a partner. Wake me when the Matrix-style VR comes out where you can program exactly what you want, where you want. Appreciate that. The RP Awakened Mindset, $10 says, I believe that RP and MGTOW have the same fundamental foundation, but at different times of your life, become one or the other based on the phase you're going through. I could be wrong, so correct me. Austin W., $25. I'm 23, never had a woman, planning on monk mode for the next 8 to 10 years. I certainly will need to learn some social skills and game down the line. Is it possible the next 5 to 10 years dating will change because of RP awareness? No. Tricky Trini, $5, says, but empathy can only go so far. My problem with MGTOW is that it doesn't hold men accountable and challenge them, but I hear you. Okay. RDAB says, there are times with Fresh and Fit that I skip shows because I get tired of the episodes centering around women, but sometimes I like Fresh and Fit centered around women. Fresh and Fit on finance are refreshing. Holy smokes, man. A lot of Fresh and Fit in there. RDAB, another $10 says, Fresh and Fit shows on finances are refreshing. Can Hotep break down views by age groups? 18 to 24-year-old men are at home with their parents, don't care about financial shows. Grown men need money. HotepJesus.com or go to his channels. Unique79 with the 100-pound super chat. The subject about being burned. I was in a toxic relationship. I look back and take full responsibility for allowing disrespect in the relationship. Can we agree that many guys allow themselves to be burned by not checking disrespect in their relationships? Yes, but they have to learn how to do that. That's why they subscribe to guys like us. Chris Van Eric, $50 says, great show, amazing points by everyone on the panel. Thank you, Joker, for stopping by. Avery Jones, $25. I hope you keep this specific episode up on YouTube and not Patreon, Donovan. Avery, that's not under my control, my friend. If this episode gets a green $sign, it stays up. If it's a yellow $sign, it goes to Patreon. I've said that many times before, so please do not characterize me taking down the video as something that is under my control. I do that, and this is just how I have kept my channel up. More people in the sphere need to hear this great discussion of nuance. Yes, and if YouTube plays ball, then I will too. Listen, Joker, listen, man, thank you very, very much listen, you represented yourself well. You are the token white guy on the panel. We had honest, we had a good debate, honest discourse. We had disagreements. Any last words before you jet out of here, man?
We're all the manosphere. We're all red pill one way or another. You know, breaking it down further, we do that just so people can find maybe a message that clicks in with them. But the truth is, we're all on the same damn team. You know, some of us are quarterbacks, some of us play defense, some play offense. We're the same team. We just want men to be happy, men to be fine on their own, not need anything in life to feel successful, and just be strong and take care of yourselves, guys. That's what it's about. And I'll tell you, as I said this before, if you don't have the success, if you haven't had an opportunity with women, don't just automatically say, well, that's it. I'm never going to do it. Listen to some of these guys' channels. Get some social awareness. Even if it never gets you in dating, it helps you in business, in interviews, in just everyday life. Be comfortable in your own skin. And this is what these guys teach. And they take it to the nth degree to maybe help you have some game and meet some women. But don't let guys like me telling you, hey, here's some of the things you're going to run into when you date, and be careful and look out, and women are crazy. Don't let guys like me scare you off from trying to date. Go out there and do it. Then someday, if you wheel back around and say, man, I've been out there, it's too crazy, I want to hide from the storm over here, then do it. But make sure it's a choice, not something that you never got a chance to experience for yourself.
Fair enough. And with that, we went way over on time. It is way past my bedtime. Thank you, Hotep Jesus, Coach Greg Adams, Myron Gaines, Mr. Lucario, badboymembership.com, Minister Jap, and of course our special guest Joker for taking the time. We will see you guys next week at 8:30 Eastern. Take care.
Peace, man.